The NBA coach who thought like a marketer. Yesterday, the basketball world lost one of its greatest innovators. His name was Don Nelson. He won 5 NBA championships as a player. He won 1,335 games as a coach. He was named Coach of the Year 3 times and he was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. But that's not the most interesting part. Because Don Nelson spent his entire career doing something that most businesses are too afraid to do. He broke the rules. And that's exactly why his story has a lot to teach us about marketing. Chapter 1: The Man Who Didn't Play by the Rules. For decades, basketball had a pretty simple idea of what a team was supposed to look like. You needed a big players, you needed a traditional center, you played a certain way, you followed the system, and then there was Don Nelson. He looked at the same game and asked a completely different question. What if we don't? What if the biggest player doesn't always need to be on the court? What if smaller, faster players can create problems for bigger teams? What if you force your opponent to play your game instead of playing theirs? That philosophy became known as Nellie Ball. It was fast, it was aggressive, it was unconventional, and sometimes it looked completely crazy. But that was the point. Nelson wasn't trying to make his team look like everyone else's. He was trying to make everyone else play a game they weren't prepared for. And that's our first marketing lesson. In this chapter 2, stop playing their game. Think about almost any industry. Hundred of company, thousands of products, everyone is fighting for the same customers. Everyone is running ads, everyone is copying competitors, everyone is saying we are better, we are faster, we are cheaper. And eventually everything starts looking the same. That's when competition becomes brutal. But Don Nelson understood something. You don't always win by becoming better at the game everyone else is playing. Sometimes you change the game. That's exactly what disruptive companies do. Netflix didn't try to become a better video rental store. It changed how people watched movies. IKEA didn't try to become another traditional furniture store. It changed how furniture was bought and assembled. And Costco didn't try to compete with every grocery store on every product. It built an entire membership model around value. The lesson: don't just ask how you can beat your competitors. Ask, what if I make their strategy irrelevant? Chapter 3: The Crazy Idea. The problem with innovation is that it usually looks stupid before it looks smart. When Nelson experimented with smaller lineups, he wasn't following the conventional playbook. He was creating mismatches. A slower, bigger player might have an advantage in size. But what happens if you make that player chase smaller, faster players all night? Suddenly, his advantage becomes a weakness. That's brilliant strategy. Not because the players suddenly became better, but because the environment changed. And this is one of the most powerful ideas in marketing. Your competitor might have more money, more employees, more stores, more followers, more brand recognition. So you probably can't beat them at their own game. But you don't have to. You can change the game. Chapter 4: The Marketing Version. Imagine you are a small company. You are competing against a giant corporation. They have $100 million advertising budget. You have a few $1,000s. What do? The tradition answer is try to advertise better. Wrong game. Instead, find something that giant can't do easily. Move faster, speak differently, target a tiny audience, create a community, build a personality, become extremely good at one thing. That's what differentiation really means. You are not asking, how can I become a smaller version of them? You are asking, what can I do that they can't? That's the Don Nelson way. Chapter 5: The Weird Part. And here's where Nelson gets deep. But sometimes his strategy didn't work. That's important because we are often told that success people are successful because they always make the right decisions. That's nonsense. Nelson lost games. His team lost playoff series. He never won an NBA championship as a head coach, but he kept experimenting. And eventually, when people understand innovation. That's why some of the best ideas initially look ridiculous. The first people to do something differently often get laughed at until it works. Then everybody, and suddenly the crazy idea becomes best practice. This constantly in marketing. Brands that started with unusual ideas. Red Bull didn't just sell an energy drink; it built an entire media and extreme sports universe around itself. Dollar Shave Club didn't try to outspend Gillette. It made the category funny, direct, and shareable. Tesla didn't just sell another car, it tried to make electric cars desirable. The strategy is different, but the principle is the same. Change what people think the game is. Chapter 7, the biggest lesson. So, what can marketers actually learn from Don Nelson? Three things. Number one, don't blindly follow industry rules. Ask who created the rule and whether it still makes sense. Number two, build around your advantage. Don't copy a competitor just because they are successful. Find what you are uniquely good at and build your strategy around it. Number three, make your competitors uncomfortable. Because if your strategy forces them to change, you are already controlling the game. That's what great strategy does. It doesn't just help you compete, it changes the behavior of everyone around you. Chapter 8, the man who was ahead of the game. Don Nelson coached his last NBA game in 2010, but many of the ideas he experimented with are still influencing basketball today. There's a strange thing about innovation. Sometimes you don't get to see the full impact of your idea. Someone else takes it, improves it, scales it, and eventually the world forgets that it started with someone who was willing to look ridiculous. Don Nelson was that person. He didn't just coach basketball, he challenged the assumptions behind basketball. And that's what the best marketers do. They don't just ask, like, how do we sell more? They ask, why does this industry work this way in the first place? The Marketing Vanguards lesson. Don Nelson is gone, but his biggest lesson isn't. Because the next time you look at your industry, don't just look at the competitors, look at the rules, look at the assumptions, look at the things everyone says. That's just how it's done. And then ask, does it actually have to be? Because sometimes the biggest opportunity isn't becoming better at the game, it's creating a different game. And when everyone else is trying to win by following the rules, the person willing to rewrite them might already have the advantage. That's the story of Don Nelson, and that's the kind of thinking we are looking for here at Marketing Vanguards. Don't just compete, change the game. Arigatou gozaimasu.